Meet Arthur. Arthur is moving 3 states away. He has a new girlfriend, a new business idea, and a new lease on life. He is leaving his 10-year-old son, Leo, behind with his ex-wife. He will see Leo maybe 2 weekends a year. When Arthur's friends ask him how he could move so far away from his child, Arthur doesn't look guilty. He looks enlightened. He looks them dead in the eye and says, "You can't pour from an empty cup. If I'm not happy, I can't be a good father to Leo. I have to put my own mental health first so I can show up for him later." It sounds logical. It sounds like something a therapist might say. But it is a lie. Arthur has weaponized modern psychology to justify the oldest, most painful betrayal in human history, a parent prioritizing their own immediate pleasure over their child's fundamental need for stability. If you grew up with a parent who constantly chose their own comfort, their new relationships, or their freedom over you, you know the deep, silent wound it leaves behind. Today on Psychology Every Day, we are breaking down the psychology of the selfish parent. We will explore how emotionally immature adults weaponize therapy speak, the difference between hedonism and true meaning, and how parents like Arthur manipulate their own reality just so they can sleep at night. 1. The weaponization of therapy speak. To understand Arthur, we have to look at the excuse he uses. Put your own oxygen mask on before assisting others. We hear this all the time in self-care culture, and in a literal emergency, it is true. If you pass out from lack of oxygen, you cannot help your child. But people with high narcissistic traits or severe emotional immaturity twist this concept. They confuse basic self-care with unrestricted self-interest. Taking an hour to go to the gym so you don't burn out? That is putting on your oxygen mask, abandoning your primary caregiving duties to move across the country and chase a fleeting romance. That is taking the only oxygen mask, jumping out of the plane with a parachute, and telling your child, "I hope this builds your resilience." Arthur is using a psychological concept as a shield against accountability. He has convinced himself that his personal happiness is a prerequisite for parenting, rather than recognizing that parenting fundamentally requires the sacrifice of personal convenience. 2. Arrested emotional development. This brings us to the root of Arthur's behavior, arrested emotional development. Physical adulthood happens automatically. Emotional adulthood does not. A psychologically mature parent understands the hierarchy of needs. They understand that once you bring a child into the world, your child's need for safety permanently outranks your desire for novelty. Arthur never reached emotional adulthood. Psychologically, he is still a teenager, and teenagers are inherently egocentric. They are supposed to be. They are wired to seek identity, chase cheap thrills, and rebel against responsibility. Because Arthur is emotionally stunted, he does not view Leo as a dependent who needs protection. Subconsciously, Arthur views Leo as a competitor. Leo competes for Arthur's time. Leo competes for Arthur's money. Leo competes for the attention of the adults in the room. Arthur's departure isn't just about finding a new life. It is a subconscious rebellion. He is running away from the suffocating reality of having to play the adult. He wants to be the main character of his own story again, and a child is a very inconvenient co-star. Let's pause here. If you are watching this and realizing that your parent was actually just an overgrown teenager, that is a heavy, painful truth to process. It completely changes how you view your childhood. If this psychological lens is helping you make sense of the pain you've carried, hit that subscribe button. We are untangling these deep family dynamics every single week, so you can finally stop blaming yourself for their choices. Now, let's look at how Arthur manages to sleep at night without drowning in guilt. 3. Cognitive dissonance and the rewrite. How does a father abandon his son and still view himself as a good guy? He uses cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the extreme mental pain you feel when your actions conflict with your core beliefs. Arthur believes he is a good person, but Arthur is abandoning his child. These two realities cannot exist together. The brain must eliminate the friction. So, Arthur's brain initiates a psychological rewrite of reality. He creates distortions. Distortion 1, the resilient kid myth. Arthur tells himself, Leo is tough. Kids are adaptable. He's actually better off without us fighting in the house. By labeling Leo as hyper-resilient, Arthur absolves himself of the damage he is causing. Distortion 2, the martyr complex. Arthur convinces himself he is actually doing Leo a favor. I'm teaching him independence. I'm showing him what it looks like to chase your dreams. Arthur isn't lying to his friends. He is lying to his own nervous system. If he admits the truth, that he is choosing a sports car and a new girlfriend over his son's tears, his ego would shatter. He exaggerates Leo's independence to justify his own absence. 4. Hedonia versus eudaimonia. Finally, we have to look at what Arthur is actually chasing. He says he is chasing happiness, but psychology categorizes happiness into two entirely different states. Hedonia, hedonism, is the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. It is the thrill of a new car, a new romance, a vacation. It feels amazing, but it evaporates the moment the stimulus is gone. Eudaimonia is the pursuit of meaning, purpose, and self-realization. It is the deep, quiet satisfaction of raising a good human, honoring your commitments, and doing the hard, unglamorous work. Arthur is an addict of hedonia. He is chasing the dopamine spike of the new. But parenting is overwhelmingly eudaimonic. Parenting is waking up at 3 a.m. to clean up vomit. It is helping with fractions when you are exhausted. It is rarely fun in the hedonic sense, but it provides the deepest structural meaning a human can experience. Parents who prioritize their own happiness over their kids are running on a hedonic treadmill. They will arrive in their new state with their new partner, and within 2 years the dopamine will fade. The emptiness will return, because you cannot fill a deficit of meaning with a surplus of pleasure. The reality of the child. If you are the Leo in this story, if you grew up watching your father or mother choose themselves, their addictions, or their new families over you, you need to hear this clearly. Their choice had nothing to do with your worth. Children are inherently egocentric. When a parent leaves, a child's brain automatically assumes, I wasn't good enough to make them stay. If I was smarter, or quieter, or better, they wouldn't have chosen that new life over me. But you cannot outperform someone else's emotional immaturity. Arthur didn't leave because Leo was flawed. Arthur left because Arthur was broken. Arthur lacked the psychological hardware required to bear the weight of sacrificial love. You were always worthy of a parent who stayed. We have built a culture that worships the phrase, do what makes you happy. But when you are a parent, that phrase comes with an asterisk. True fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding your burdens. It comes from carrying the right ones with honor. If you are breaking the cycle of a selfish parent, I want to hear from you. What is one thing you do differently with your own kids to ensure they never feel the way you did? Let's share those victories in the comments below. If this video helped you rewrite the story of your own childhood, hit that like button and subscribe to Psychology Every Day.